welcome to an all-new episode of House of Hoosier podcast. It's your host, AJ Guyton, and I'm here with one of my favorite all-time Hoosiers, a guy that I've been reaching out to over the last 10 years and getting a lot of great jewels from. We got my man, 1993 Player of the Year, College Basketball Hall of Fame inductee, Calbert Cheaney. Welcome, my brother.
Hey, how you doing, my man? Everything all right?
Everything good, man. I appreciate you taking the time out down in, what that weather like down there in ATL?
It's still 60, 70s. It's cloudy today. Got a little rain last couple of days, but it's still pretty warm. Still trying to get out and get my walks in.
Yeah,
daily.
for sure. One thing about them Hoosiers, y'all know y'all flee west, y'all flee south. It's
all
40
over the place, huh?
It's 40 degrees up here, man. It was 80 2 days ago. Like, I mean, it's crazy up here. So we mad jealous right now. Mad jealous. Ain't no taking no walk.
Yeah, I ain't ready to wear the beanie yet, man. But it's coming. It's coming.
For sure. Hey, so the first thing we start off with, man, is, and I don't know any of this information. I want you to enlighten me. Tell me what it was like in your early life, and you're in a Calbert Cheaney household growing up in Evansville. What was that dynamic like, sisters and brothers, and impact of mother and father?
It was great. I was a big time mama's boy.
Yeah, for sure.
Growing up, I was always hanging around. Anywhere my mom went, I wanted to go. And I always had my arms wrapped around her ankles. She would drag me everywhere. But it was a great life. I have an older sister, Camille, and a younger sister, Elizabeth, who I grew up with, and I loved them to death. But it was tough, being the only boy and also being a middle child.
Absolutely.
Always getting into stuff, and if something happened to where one of us got in trouble, it somehow ended up being my fault. But it is what it is. So you had to take your lumps. But I had a great mother. I love her to death. She's a real disciplinarian. Always pushing you to be the best you can be. Don't take no shiznit off of anybody. And she spoke the brutal. She's always been brutally honest. That's pretty much how she rolled. And my father, a little more laid back. He's the guy. He's the man that introduced me to the game of basketball, which I really do appreciate. And but other than that, I mean, it was, like I said, it was a great household. Unfortunately, my mom and dad got a divorce when I was 9 years old, and that happens. But that in itself, though, it was still a great. We have a great family. I had a great extended family. My grandmother, if my mom was number one, my grandmother was 1A.
Okay.
She really took care of us during the summer times when school was out. We would spend all of our time over there when my mom was working or she had to work overtime. And but we had some great aunts: Aunt Leela, Aunt Linda Sue. We had all Aunt Maria, my cousins Jackie, Tammy. We all were a close knit group.
Yeah, back in that day when everybody was together, family reunions was crazy. So it looks like, just listening to you talk and remembering watching you play the game, you got that, that fire and that competitive spirit from mom and getting beat up by the sisters. And then you got that laid back and never sweat attitude from your father. Would that be accurate?
That's about accurate. I've always been a laid back guy. But when it came to getting in between those lines, I mean, it's all about competing and doing whatever you can, playing hard, working hard to try to be successful. And that's the attitude I've always had. And I try to lead by example and try to help my kids and try to help my kids understand that. And so that's just one of those things that I've always been about.
Right. And so you, looking back at your childhood, when did you get attached to the game of basketball, and what were the most key components in your early development?
I think just love for the game. Once my dad introduced me to the game, I just loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. I always wanted to go out and play. My dad would take me to the playground and work on my shooting. Back then, I had obviously when you're small, you don't really have the mechanics to shoot because you're small. So I was slinging it up there. I'd throw it over my left shoulder and I cock it back over my left shoulder and I just sling it up there. But I didn't make a lot, but my dad also tried to help me with my mechanics and everything. And I think he was really responsible for me learning how to really shoot the ball when I was finally strong enough to be able to have the right mechanics. So I just loved it. I just soaked it up. I was one of those, back when I grew, we were growing up, AJ, we played outside all the time.
All the time.
All the time. I mean, when especially during summertime, when it was 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, I got on my bike, told my mom, hey, I see you. Just make sure make sure when you get back home, you make sure you're home by the time that blue light come on.
Right.
On the corner. Yeah. And so I was always outside, and I love to play, whether it be basketball, whether it be baseball, playing, two-hand tag football, everything, man.
Everything.
Everything. So, but in terms of basketball, I just had a special love for it.
So you mean to tell me the all-time leading scorer in the history of school in the league didn't have a trainer? You didn't have a trainer?
No trainer, man. I trained by just playing on the playground, and my dad helping me, and that was pretty much it. It wasn't until I really got to high school where I really started to take it really seriously. Even though I love to play the game, I really didn't think I was going to get past high school. If that makes sense. So, I was a typical guy. You playing high school ball. You think about college, but you really don't. You think, hey, I'm just going to go ahead and graduate high school and maybe get a job somewhere in and around the area, or maybe in the state of Indiana. And that's at that time, that's how I thought.
Absolutely. Take us back to that development in high school. Who was key for your development in high school? Outside of you growing a few inches, who was key in your development?
Yeah, definitely Gerald Van Deventer as my old high school coach. When I was a freshman in high school, actually I'm going into my sophomore year. We had went through a coaching change. Dennis Bays was the head coach at the school, and then I think he moved to athletic director. So there was an opening, and Coach Van Deventer, who came from Boonville High School in Boonville, Indiana, they had just come off a 23-2 year, had a really good year. Kicked Harrison's butt every year, so on. I think so. He ended up taking the job, and I was a sophomore, and I didn't think during that time, if you played freshman ball, and then when you were a sophomore, you played reserve ball. I don't know if people know anything much about Indiana basketball. Well, as a freshman, most players, unless you were super good, like Damon Bailey was, who already he played varsity freshman all the way through his senior year. I didn't have those skills yet. So I played freshman ball. And then my sophomore year, I thought I was going to be playing reserve ball. Maybe a little bit of varsity. And then, but coach immediately put me in as a varsity player. And I'll never forget this day when he called me into his office when he first got the job. And, at the time, he was a discipline counselor too.
Okay.
And I was like, dang, am I in trouble? What did I do? I ain't do nothing. So he called me in his office and said, with his skills and athletic ability and the natural ability that you have an opportunity to be a very, very good ball player. And he said, if you really work hard and do everything you can to be the best player you can be, I guarantee you, I get you Division I scholarship. And once he said that, I was like, heck yeah,
all in.
I was all in. And then he really put in another great thing about coach is that he pushed me. And to be the best, and at that, so at that time, like I said, once he just told me those things, I really worked hard at it, and as a result, I was able to get a Division I scholarship.
Right, and during those times in high school, it seems like, and I'm listening to you talk, man, our stories are so parallel with everything that you're saying. I can remember my coach bringing me in and asking me, like, he's like, hey man, you're a 6-foot guard. What are you going to do to separate yourself from the other 3 million 6-foot guards?
Right.
And that stuck in my mind. And that's when I decided I was going to shoot the basketball at a very high level. That's then I made that decision. I put that work in. But we all be running with our boys. We all kick it. And basketball is number one in our lives. But what point when you in high school did you see and sense and feel the separation between you and your fellas?
I think the big separation was when I started playing AAU ball.
Oh, okay.
I had never played AAU ball at all. And that's when AAU ball was in its infancy. And that's when it started to become very popular. And, when our AAU team, we played maybe 2 or 3 tournaments, maybe 4 tournaments in the summer, where now everybody plays every weekend.
Right.
But we would play our White River Park State games up in
Okay.
Indy. Then we played in a deal at University of Kentucky in Lexington, and then we played maybe a couple other tournaments, and then maybe go to Vegas. So that was it. And then, but having that experience and being able to play for Mike Thomas Photography, Mike Thomas, I love him to death, and Brad Frazier was our coach. We had an opportunity to go play and showcase our abilities. And once I started playing AAU ball and I started realizing I could play with some of these guys,
right? Yeah.
Then I was like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. And so AAU ball really helped, especially for me, right after my sophomore year.
And who are a couple of the guys that were at the top of your class that you was eyeing at those tournaments?
I really didn't eye anybody. I just wanted to not embarrass myself.
I can hear that. Hey, stay out the way.
Because I wasn't really into reading all the magazines. Back then it was, there's so much social media coverage now. Everybody sees everybody. But back then it was like it was newspaper or magazines.
Yeah.
But I really wasn't into all that. I just wanted to go out there and just prove that I could play with these guys. I didn't really, obviously, Lawrence Vanderburg was one guy.
He was a big one.
That played out of Columbus, and then you had, obviously Greg Graham, Pat Graham, who were McDonald's All-Americans. So was Lawrence. Who else was out there? There's numerous guys out there. We used to play the Gauchos. And
are you Chris Webber's class?
Chris is younger. I think he's a year or two younger than me.
Okay, Penny Hardaway.
Penny was a year younger than me.
Okay, so no.
So we didn't travel like nationally like that. We were like more regional.
Oh, okay.
But even from a regional standpoint, the competition was really good. We got our asses kicked, sometimes. But we were able to to go out there and compete and do some things. Myself, Walter McCarty.
Okay.
I don't know if you know Chris Lowry, who's assistant coach at Kansas State.
Absolutely.
We had a pretty good team. Brent Kell, who played at the University of Evansville.
Okay.
We had a pretty decent crew. So we just, like I said, we just tried to go out there and compete the best way we can. We won some, we lost some, but I think that was the biggest thing for me. And then after my junior year, I think when I'm talking after my summer going into my junior year, that's when it really started. Once I started playing the AAU ball, it really started to click. And then all of a sudden I get home and I get all these letters from Division I universities. From everywhere, and I'm like, hey, what is all this? And even then, it still didn't register with me.
Absolutely,
because I'm like, man, how am I deserving of all this? Humble. Just try to stay humble, and like I said, just continue to try to get better. And Coach Van Deventer really helped me navigate through all that.
Man, and then so you have all that success in AAU basketball, and then you go into your senior season in high school with all this hoopla around you, and you have an injury to end your season. What was the thought process after that injury? Did you think it was all over? Did you think I'm coming back 30 times stronger?
Well, from a standpoint of the high school season, I was disappointed because we had a chance to win a state title that year.
Absolutely.
Probably the only team that would have gave us problems. Obviously, you had Damon's team, and then you had Pat Graham's Floyd Central team.
Yeah.
But we felt that we could play with them, probably beat them. But I think the one team that probably would have gave us problems, the team that won a state title that year, and that was Lawrence North, who had Todd Leary and Eric Montross.
Oh, wow.
So that was the team, because, obviously Montross' size would have been probably an issue for us. But we were like ranked second or third in the state at that time when we played Terre Haute South at Holman Center in Indiana State.
Mm-hmm.
And when I ended up breaking my foot, obviously, I went out there to try it again because I figured it might have been maybe like a strain or some sort. I said I could play through this, but when I couldn't plant or when I couldn't push off, that's when I knew something was really, really wrong.
Right. Yeah.
And when that happened, I was just so distraught because we had the opportunity to really do something special. Because at that time at my high school, we never won a sectional title.
Right.
And some teams have come close, and we came close the year before when my teammate Brad Brownell, who's the head coach at Clemson.
Yeah.
We had a chance to win the title that year, and we ended up losing in overtime. So
right.
We've never really had any basketball success, and for that to happen during that time, we really wanted to bring some success to Harrison High School, and unfortunately, it didn't happen.
Absolutely.
And I was really, really broken up by it. But
for sure.
But at the same time, Coach, again told me, hey, look, man, there's nothing you can do about that, but you can do about, but you're in control of how you want to come back from this.
Right.
And I ended up busting my tail, working hard and rehabbing and everything. And I'll tell you a quick story.
Mm-hmm.
I almost got redshirted my freshman year at Indiana because I came back too soon from my injury. I ended up rehabbing and everything. Yeah. So then I come out of the boot, and so I'm working, and Dr. Allfield, who did my surgery, who's an IU alum, played in Indiana, Coach Knight. He did my surgery. He was like, you can go back, get on the court, do some things. So. But I was supposed to do it really light. It was supposed to be light workouts. I was going super. I was going at it. So then I go. So AJ, I go back here for my final checkup. Get the green light. So he X-rays my foot, and he sees that it's still halfway broken. And he's like, Cal, what you been doing?
Right.
I said, I've been doing the light workouts like you said. He said, no, you haven't been doing the light workouts like I said.
Right.
You must have been going a little bit hard. Just tell me the truth. He said, yes, I've been going really hard. I've been really anxious.
Absolutely.
So he said, look, you don't have a green light, so I got to put you back in. Instead of putting you in a boot, I'm going to put you in a cast.
Yeah.
So you can't do anything. So he put me in a cast for like another, I want to say 5 or 6 weeks, so it could heal. And I came that close to being redshirted, but I was able to come back in time to play 19 under AAU team. So our recruiting class, our freshman class, was the #1 recruiting class in the nation going into Indiana.
What was the names? What was the
it was Greg Graham, Pat Graham, Chris Reynolds. Yeah, Peoria's finest, along with you.
Yep.
Lawrence Funderburk, Todd Leary, and Chris Lawson.
Jeez.
So that was our #1. We're #1 recruit class in the nation. So we got together and played 19 under AAU ball.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I made it back in time to play a little bit with them. And as a result, they liked my progress. So they ended up, instead of redshirting me, they ended up letting me play my freshman year.
Right. Awesome, man. And before we go into your Indiana career, the names, the people you just named, just in straight conversation, Eric Montrose and Todd Leary and Pat Graham. What is it that makes? And I think state of Indiana basketball to me is the best overall in the country. Just over in the history. I mean, it's hard to obviously compare all that stuff, but a lot of people have a lot of big names, but it's just consistency across the board when it comes to the talent level. And still today, when I played, Zach Randolph came out, and just Gary Harris, playing for the Nuggets. All these dudes are from Indiana. What makes state of Indiana basketball that good?
I think it's, obviously, not aside from the talent, obviously, you got the Eric Gordons of the brother, Zach Randolph, you just described. I mean,
right.
Rain Man, Sean Kemp, Glenn Robinson, Larry Bird. I mean, it's like the names go on and on.
It's nuts. Oscar Robinson from Indiana.
Oscar Robinson, I played at Crispus Attucks up there, high school. I mean, the list goes on and on. Mm-hmm. But I think what kind of separates, obviously there's skill level everywhere. The East Coast has great players, the West Coast has, everywhere. Everybody has great players. Absolutely. I think the difference, what separates Indiana from most places, is that the fandom. Yeah. The craziness that everybody loves. They love their players. They love their high school teams. They love they sell out these 10,000 seat arenas in the state of Indiana, which is ridiculous. Right. I just think it's the fans that make the Indiana basketball so good.
That's awesome. Hey, before we get into your part of Indiana career, I want to go through what I call a Hoosier 10. Is this 10 questions that you can answer for me that, the fans will love to hear your response. The first question will be, what dorm did you stay on your freshman year on campus?
Reed Hall.
Reed Hall.
The Big X.
Big Briscoe right here, straight right across the street. If I'm
Yes,
late,
sir.
I could dash across and practice.
I couldn't. I was there. I had to shoot. I had to walk. I had to walk everywhere during my 4 years. But so I had to give myself some time to get to my classes.
Absolutely. Last time you were in Bloomington?
Last time I was in Bloomington was last year.
Okay.
I think it was last year. Man, probably I want to say last summer. Last summer.
Okay. You did the golf outing or what?
It was what was it? Sometimes I just go to go see people.
Okay.
Where did I go? I can't remember. I want to say it was last summer, but I can't remember. Maybe July, August, right in that area.
Okay.
Oh, I got it. No, I'm sorry. It was October.
Okay.
So I always do this charity golf outing in Cincinnati, in and around that time. And before, on the way I normally drive, and as I drive in, I normally just stop in Bloomington to say hi to Archie, to say hi to all those guys, and and maybe catch a workout or something before I head into Cincinnati for the golf outing. So yeah, it was last October.
Okay, cool. Favorite place to eat when you go back?
Oh, you already know. You already know. Go ahead and say it.
Tell me which one.
You got. I got Nick's.
Nick's, okay.
Nick's is the spot. That's my spot. Nick's and then Little Zagreb's.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say Zagreb.
Those are my two. Yeah.
Sure. I'm coming to get some steak. College toughest matchup.
Oh, Jim Jackson. Without question, the toughest matchup. Yeah, he was the toughest matchup. Because he obviously he's just as big as I am, probably a little bit bigger.
Absolutely.
Could handle the ball like a guard. Could do many things. Could post you up.
Yes.
He presented a lot of problems.
That mid-range was crazy. And I absolutely enjoy watching Jim Jackson on TV as well. Toughest place to play that you can remember on the road in the Big Ten?
I would have to say it's two.
Okay.
Obviously, when the Fab Five was a Chrysler.
Oh Lord, I saw that guy.
Going into that.
Right.
And then the second one was really hard. And this is when Michigan State was at the top. It would be a push between Michigan State and the old St. John Arena at Ohio State, Breslin Center.
Yeah, for sure.
St. John Arena, but when Michigan State had Steve Smith.
Yes, sir.
And they had won the Big Ten title my freshman year, and then my sophomore year they weren't as good, but it was so tough to play up there. It's
always hard to play there.
It's cold. It's Chrysler Arena in Michigan. I mean, those two places were really, really tough.
Absolutely. I think I know the answer to this question. What's your toughest NBA matchup?
Oh, MJ. It ain't even close. I might give me a double nickel in the playoffs.
Put that out. I don't even know.
No. Shoot, I tell you what, everybody gave me a double nickel in game 2 of the playoffs, and then I played for Washington. But he's just one of those rare guys that what he's going to do, but he's going to do it anyway. And that's superstar right there. So.
Absolutely. Okay.
And
we got an MJ section, so don't.
Oh yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha.
What was your most memorable coach night moment?
There's so many. Let me think here for a second. I would say that my one moment with him is when. Man, there are a lot of moments.
Got a lot.
Let's get back to that one.
You'll get back to that one later.
Yeah, let me think about
a whole Bob Knight section.
Yeah.
All right, this is gonna require a little bit of thought. You are already on this list, so I mean, I know you humble, but we gonna give you your flowers today. Give me your 3 other Mount Rushmore IU basketball players. 3.
Man. I would have to say, Steve got to be one of them. I would have to say Walt Bellamy.
2
would be another. Ooh. And Isaiah Thomas.
And Isaiah, I love that list. I love that list. Now, there's a difference between. The last question is the difference between your favorite and your greatest. Who's your favorite all-time IU player?
My favorite all-time IU player was I'm Mike Woodson guy. I really like Mike Woodson.
Nice.
Yeah, Mike Woodson. Yeah, Mike Woodson was a guy I used to love watching. I didn't watch him play per se when I was younger because I wasn't really into basketball like that.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm talking about when I was a tight, but when I got to Indiana, I watched a lot of film on him.
Absolutely.
And I was really impressed by how he played the game.
Absolutely. Well, appreciate that, man. And nobody take offense. All of them are all-time greats. But,
no doubt. You an all-time great. You an all-time great.
Guys, man. So let's get into your recruitment. How did the recruitment to IU begin? What's the coach that made that call that changed
it was Ron Felling. Ron Felling was the guy.
Hey, Ron recruited everybody.
Yeah. Ron was the guy that recruited me. And I'll tell you a quick story. So it's my junior year, and I guess Ron told me this story. So we're playing. I think we played Jasper High School, which was probably one of the last games toward the end of my junior year. It was a home game. And there was like rumors around school that Coach Knight was going to come see me play for the first time.
Oh, I know that's big. That's a big rumor.
Yeah, it's a big rumor. And I was like, back then, I was like, yeah, whatever, man, whatever. So, so we have the game that night, and next thing you know, you're hearing the whispers in the hallway. Yo, Coach Knight's here. Coach Knight's here. Coach Knight's here. So we come out, and he's sitting up there in the back corner along with Coach Felling.
Absolutely.
And I see it, and now all of a sudden I'm a little bit nervous. So when we get out there and we play, and I have a terrible game. Mm-hmm. AJ, I have a terrible game. I probably shot 30 times, made 6 shots. Dang. Probably finished with and I'm known to be pretty efficient.
Yeah, right. For sure.
And so probably maybe only had like 2 or 3 rebounds.
Right. Yeah.
And ended up being terrible. And then so I guess they're driving back, and Ron told me this story. Driving back, and coach was telling Ron about why you bring me down here. Calbert was terrible. All he thinks about is just scoring the basketball. He doesn't rebound. He doesn't guard anybody. And Ron told me, he said, Coach, I'm telling you, because Ron had seen me all summer during the AAU circuit. He said, Coach, out of all the recruits that we have, Calbert is the best. Right. I'm just telling you. So Coach went on faith.
Right.
And offered, and then they ended up offering me a scholarship. Trusting Coach Felling, and they ended up offering me a scholarship.
Wow! And when that offer came through, did you accept immediately?
It was between Indiana and University of Evansville, because Jim Cruz at the time was the coach. Okay. And I had no issues with Coach Cruz or UE. It was just I didn't want to stay at home because I've been home all my life.
Absolutely.
We just want to get away. But not too far away. And when I did, so I ended up taking that offer, and so it wasn't how it is with all the fanfare and the social media stuff. I'm going to such and such university.
You mean you didn't have a table with the hat on it?
Didn't have none of that. So here's how, let me tell you the story. So I commit, and then to sign my national letter of intent. Ron Felling comes down on a private jet to Evansville Airport. Mm-hmm. I signed my national letter of intent on the hood of a car. He gets back on the plane, and he goes back to Bloomington. So that's how it happened.
That's crazy. And I actually don't even remember signing one. I know, and this is crazy because the reason I got offered was Tim Knight came to a game. I struggled in the first half. They was boxing one playing, and I struggled. And then I ended up having a good game in the second half. Coach Knight signed me on the opinion of Tim Knight. Coach Knight I don't even remember ever talking to him on the phone. He never came to a game. I was going to go to SLU, actually. Because I loved Charlie Spoonhour.
Yes, Spoonhour was a really good coach.
He came to my house. He's the only coach came to my house. But things happened at IU and the spot opened up, and then so I laugh and I giggle because now it's a announcement on Twitter. It's a video, and I'll be watching. I'm like, this is so creative, but Ain't that a bit? It just piles on the expectation when you do all the extra stuff. Like,
right,
you
exactly.
can't do that and come in and average 6 points a game. And like, I'm going back to this video. Like, where is this dude at? I want to see this dude. So that's an incredible story, man. So you walk on campus, first practice. What did you think? Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember. We got there, and then so we started playing. We started playing pickup and all that other stuff, and I'm like, you got Pat Graham out here, you got Lawrence Funderburg, you got Greg Graham, all these McDonald's All-Americans and all that other stuff, and then we're playing with the existing players. You got Mark Robinson, Jamal Meeks. Jeff Alfin.
Shout out Jamal Meeks. That's
Jay Meeks.
Dude, man.
Yes, he was a great dude, great competitor too.
Yes, sir.
So we're all out there playing pickup and everything, and so we kind of feeling ourselves a little bit, and so the first time we played, I guess Coach wanted everybody to match up, so it was like the experienced guys, already established guys there in Indiana against the freshmen. So we like feeling ourselves and all that. We play pickup, man. We get demolished. But at the same time, I'm out there on the court, and we're playing. Then after a while, we mix it up, and then I'm like, we get up down a couple times. I make a couple buckets, get a couple steals. I'm like, I'm going to be all right, because at that time, I didn't think, shoot, am I going to be able to stack up to these guys?
Yeah.
Once I got out there and I started playing, I was like, I think we're going to be all right.
Right.
I'm good to go.
and I think all of us have this. I know I did, but most of us had this moment. Was there a moment that came within practice, and Coach Knight goes off, and you like, damn, what have I got myself into?
No, I kind of expected that, because when I got recruited, I went up to the game when they played Purdue, and I think they had beat Purdue like on the last second shot. I think Jay Edwards hit the last second shot to win the game.
Okay.
And so, but afterward, Coach Kim comes in and he just starts going off fire and brimstone, and he like tossing freaking water coolers everywhere. I think he breaks the door in the bathroom. And I said, "Oh, okay. This is cool." I said, "My mom in a lot of cases is worse than he is." So, she just whipped my tail endlessly. So it was to be expected.
Oh, okay. I'll never forget. I remember him telling, I don't know if he did it, and I don't really remember a lot of stuff, but I remember this man telling Dan Dawkins to run them stairs with his player. Oh. And I was like, this man, because we got right back into practice, and I'm like, this man go over here and run these stairs. I'm out of here. This is bananas. I forgot what player it was, but he did something in practice. And he told him to hit them stairs in the hall, and he said, Dan Dawkins, you hit him too. I'm like,
I think Coach tests everybody mentally in some cases. And I have a good story that he got me too. So that's for later. We'll say that for later.
Absolutely. Okay, so you have a phenomenal freshman season. So your career is going well. What was your biggest adjustment to the college game?
Obviously, how it is. It's the speed. Obviously when you play high school, it's kind of like when you play elementary school. You play elementary school, you're the best guy. Then when you move up to high school, it tends to be, you got to get used to the strength and the speed. And the same thing goes with college, and the same thing goes with the NBA. So you just have to get used to it, and you got to continue to work. You got to work on your game, and try to hold up your end of the bargain, and be the best player you can be for your team.
Right. And you obviously went through the rigors of a Big Ten schedule. What was it like?
It was interesting. It was tough, because like I said, we had a pretty good freshman class, and all of us played a lot, and we started out the season 10-0.
Okay.
Beat a good Notre Dame team with Alfonso Ellis and those guys. We beat some I think beat Kentucky. Kentucky was, they had just got back in, because they had just had, got Coach Rick Pitino coming off of that probation. So they weren't quite as good, but we beat them and beat some quality teams my freshman year in pre-conference season.
Right. Yeah.
But then once the Big Ten rolled around, man, we struggled because, obviously, we ended up going like 8-10 in the conference, but we just barely got into the NCAA tournament, and we ended up losing first round to California.
Right. Yeah.
So it was a tough year, especially when we got to the conference games, because we just weren't ready physically. We knew the skill was there, but we just weren't ready physically. And right after that season was over with, we lose to California. The coach gives us about a week off, and then after that week, AJ, we went right to work, in the gym, getting weight room and everything.
Yeah.
Because the coach was like, we're not going to make that mistake again, not being ready physically. And after that summer of work, we had we came out my sophomore year, and we were pretty darn good.